Howdy do, and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
Sorry, there we go.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it!
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
Right?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Is Hiro really the killer, or... Before anything, we have to make that clear. We either have to clear his name or judge him. Yasuhiro's message. I was expecting more bullets by now, to be honest. We're not playing on kind.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
The suit parts...
Oh, wrong button.
No, it's wrong.
Oh, we're off to a great start. Me.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he is not the only one. I think Hiro is innocent as well.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto.
Tell him,
them who
Nagi.
it was.
Of course he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question, the one that must have been in the suit. Oh no, it was still them.
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
Alright.
Now that's a bold assumption. And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
The things that were used to move Taka's body, they must have been the things that were used to move Taka's body. So But can I pick more than one? Because, like, the tarp was one of them, but the dolly was the other.
I got it!
There's still one more thing. Oh, yeah, so, okay, so now it wants me to go through both. Yeah, cool.
I got it! They
The
were
daily double.
a dolly and a tarp, right? So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room.
Yeah.
So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing.
The wheel tracks through
I'm
the
sure
blood.
the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
Well, no, it's not, because we're perfect.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean, but maybe I can change her mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. A new element has been added to bullet time battles. Would you like to hear? Aw, heck. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements, but from now on, just locking on and pressing the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you're out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the tab key. Just like locking on, you have to press the tab key in time with the tempo marker. Ah, great. Basically, just remember the tab key now has a function. Okay, and you'll automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo will not decrease. But if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload at all. In which case, you can ignore everything I just said. Well then, good luck, have fun. Hate this. Because I know it's a matter of time before I fail this. I don't think it's, I don't hate it, but like.
Wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere.
Okay, wait, no, this is actually kind of good.
You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree.
Nah, now I gotta do that.
You are a fool. So pathetic.
Dang, all those insults, they meant nothing.
Agree.
This should prove it.
Just sit down, would you? Ah, that was actually a lot better than I thought.
If you're
I thought I was gonna be
asking for
bad
proof
at
that
rhythm.
the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jesus, Celeste, you really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're a crank, remember?
Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
If I look how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? Robo Justice costume.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
Ah,
Then
but
you
weren't...
can push the dolly no problem.
Somebody
So
said
the
that you
killer
can't
just
do that in the
crouched
suit.
down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said, then you must realize that whoever was in the suit couldn't possibly be the culprit.
Yeah, I know what it is now.
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
All you'd have to do is bend over.
Nope.
No, it's wrong.
Nuh-uh.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low.
Bring it up slow.
But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
Yeah, it was them that said it. I'm blind as a bat in here. I can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Ah, but you can't. There's absolutely no chance the costume was taken off to move the body because you can't take it off by yourself.
I got it!
The clasp on the back.
I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make this stupid freaking thing. There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We really don't have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
He's...
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it.
yeah.
Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Makes you wonder.
That's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took?
That is true.
You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo Justice. That's what I said to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
Right.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
I saw a shadow, something moving at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down to the hallway and disappeared.
and then...
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. I said
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups.
I said that the class trials gives me a chance to rest my throat, and they're just doing flashback after flashback all the time. Holy
Celeste,
crap.
Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. Are we all hallucinating, or is all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation.
Oh.
And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what. Welcome to Club Danganronpa.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last
What makes you say that?
because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after because of the numbering of the Justice Hammer.
Yeah, alright.
No, it's wrong. Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If
Oh.
anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before
Because
Hifumi?
Taka's watch broke at like 6 a.m.
Okay then.
and
Let's see the
Hifumi was
proof.
still alive at 7 a.m. The broken watch. The wristwatch. The watch time. The 6 a.m. The boom bam. The wrist. Is it really wristwatch? Wait. All right. I need an H. Wristwatch.
Now I understand.
It's morphin' time.
I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Hey, you, how long are you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his watch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
Yep.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
For now. I'm not rereading it every time it shows us again.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office. And that's where we found his body. That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Hero, no.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, We were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then.
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Yeah.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyways.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
We keep going.
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to
I said
what
Jedi
Celeste
in the
said,
last episode, so I mean, I'm still sticking by that one.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well,
Or,
what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
what, like Jesus? Muluflaga from Gundam Seed?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
Necromancy. Oh, okay.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Ah.
Alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive, is it really possible? Well, I mean, we're about to find out. Make my argument, I'm not the one that said it. The broken wristwatch. Okay, I don't think this is going to be actually it.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us.
True.
Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Hifumi's dead body had been found.
There it is.
No, that's wrong.
There it's all coming together slowly. Nothing actually is coming together, but I mean, like,
Was the
the
body
mechanic.
discovery
How
announcement
to, like,
that
work
was
it.
made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
Oh, it's big brain time.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy
Actually,
bum.
that might have answered the question.
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Later on?
Like if both bodies were discovered at the same time, there would have been the one announcement, and then in the room again, there wouldn't have needed to have been a second announcement.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. The first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office in the equipment room. The second time was when both bodies were rediscovered.
I got it!
But at that point, both had already been found.
When we rediscovered the two bodies.
Ding dong, bing bong, ding ding. Oh, this is ding dong, ding dong. A body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually
Dead for the first time.
discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
I mean, you've heard a lot of bad things in your life, probably.
But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
There might be. You are really defensive. Sorry. Oh man, you're really defensive this trial.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body.
Like, it's like there's been like a switch where like Byakuya is like less mean to us and Celeste is suddenly more mean to us, and I guess as the game goes on, maybe that's the dynamic switch, is Byakuya's gonna get nicer and Celeste is just gonna get meaner. I don't know. I mean, she wants to stay here, I guess.
Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
There has to be proof that shows that Fumi was still alive. I have to find it and show it to everyone. Give me some bullets. Click, click. Got Fumi's glasses. The cleaning cloth. Wasn't it a glasses cloth?
The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
Oh shit, I should be paying attention.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Ah, that's what we shoot.
Then, was he really still alive?
Of course not. It is impossible. This is ridiculous. There was no notable difference.
Yeah, there was.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, there was.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository.
Mm-hmm.
His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
You were there, the trash can. Right? That's what we're talking about.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe
The cleaning cloth, the cloth, cleaning cloth, cleaning of clothness. With the character on it, right? Yeah, this.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear.
Yeah.
This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
Yes.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
Exactly.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The
Not
fridge in
exactly.
the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
Yeah, there we go.
Figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's body was Taka himself. He was alive too, not Sakura. It was Hifumi then, if he got up.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
My goodness.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
Ah, so he was in on it. He too was another assassin.
But that means he took part in the murders.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
That'd be good.
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
The one we took, or the... yeah. It'd be the scrap. Yeah, this one though, because it's the one that they had.
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his... pants?
Yes, his pants.
His pants. Yeah.
Okay, well, forget about the pants.
Not his socks.
Take a look at what the note says.
Not to be confused with socks. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet up in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Got in touch with Hifumi's pants.
I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection!
Why?
Objection!
Why?
I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Nah, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill and have to find my lost piece. Ah, finally, multiple bullets. That's good.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Ah.
No, it's wrong.
I went for it on the first one because it was the last one, so that was still the whole conversation.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
There is.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. You've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for
The
Taka.
wristwatch.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
The other ripped part of it, so not the scrap part, or not the scrap part, not the full-on note, which is this.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note...
Are one and the same.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka
Only
died
one.
clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from its death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
Yep.
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Oh no, you were doing so well, and now, no.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Uh-oh.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
What, life itself?
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, According to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
That actually was a good point. Like, it was.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding the case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow I have to find the truth. Remember there was like the... So there wasn't a Justice Hammer 5, but there were more... The Spotless Hammer. Yeah, exactly. The unofficial... official Justice Hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice
No, it's
Hammers.
a Spotless Hammer. Okay, now we know.
That's about it. It had to be one of the Justice.
Nope.
No, it's wrong.
The Spotless one that was
The murder
washed.
weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Yeah.
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Oh, okay.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
I remember Ludacris. What an interesting rapper. We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Make your argument. Spotless Hammer again, huh? I don't think so.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together.
Probably gotta shoot impossible or something.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however,
There were 2 murders. That's true.
Let's go.
Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
Yeah?
What do you mean?
if there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents.
No, okay.
And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
I mean, one way or the other, right? Either they kill Hifumi, or they just don't do their part, and then Hifumi gets outed as, like, the Blackened.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us that two murders were the same, that was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnaturally how good she is at
I
this.
understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end murdered him. And the debates up until now, the way the cases has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Well, heck, not you. Not you. No. You have an alibi, and even if you don't have an alibi, I just feel as a character you're just too noble and good. It wasn't you, even though you disappeared. You seem surprised, but a bit too surprised to be guilty. Oh, we already know it's not you. They wanted us to blame you from the start, so it's not you. You are impressed by their cunning, and I figure you really don't lie as much as you talk down to people. You've been defensive all trial long. And it's not you, and we're full circle. Oh, yeah, it's you.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Way too defensive all trial long.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him,
I mean, you spent time with us.
that I would go within 10 feet of that brain-fat, lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Oh, dang.
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What is it that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common? Encountering the suspicious individual, the paper in Hifumi's pants, the screaming. Basically they're the only ones that encountered the individual.
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Hifumi, who we now know was an accomplice.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow, something move at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? Yeah, okay, this one's over. Okay.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
Ah, Celeste is pretty crafty.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
We all saw this last episode.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
Yeah, that's a cry. It kind of sounds more like a excitement or even a moan. That doesn't really sound like a cry. Like that would be the weirdest Super Saiyan yell ever. Also the fastest.
No, Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor. Everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Dang.
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
She insisted on staying behind.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
Yeah, way to take charge here, Byakuya.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys did.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You're trying, buddy, okay? I feel for you.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said the Celeste comment doesn't make sense, but what is he alluding to? The Monokuma file? I don't think that's gonna be it.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
Yeah, I gotta memorize something. I know,
And
okay.
That's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
We are going to die, just like those.
Yeah, let's go. Togami with the low-key carry.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
Mm-hmm.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly.
Well.
And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Yeah, so even if you knew the second person was dead, you didn't know if it was Taka or Kyoko. No, then to be fair, when I use the word guys, I use it in like a general sense nowadays, so I mean like...
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple.
Because it's a lie.
Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi and the suspect are dancing. Of course. Hifumi is dragging the suspect away. Hifumi and the suspect had been drinking. Oh, Hifumi's dragging the suspect away.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Because Hifumi's in on it, so yeah.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect. But is it really possible? Well, it's hope versus despair now, so we're about to find out. Robo Justice costume, Yasuhiro's message, Robo Justice blueprints.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Well, I mean, they don't bend at the waist.
Idiot is the culprit after all.
Oh, come on.
Suspect, if the person inside the suit, there's no way they could stand...
Sit down.
No, that's wrong.
Could have been nicer.
Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Yeah, so I was on the right path, though. You can't totally bend in the waist. Seems pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Checkmate?
Yeah, checkmate. You know when checks mate and you get money? Money. Money. Money! Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Yeah, Fumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
No,
Your
buddy.
confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Ooh.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names. He said for Sirius a lot. He gave everyone nicknames. Last names, right? Like we were Mr. Naegi, Mr. Ishimaru.
I got it!
Last
That's
names.
right! Our last names!
So he would have
He
said,
called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
ooh. Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
She said that is her real name.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a loser to you?
I mean, right now, in this moment, it's not looking good for you. Yeah.
Well, do I?
That might be a loser pose right there. Also... No, never mind.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
A little?
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her accept it. E-handbook, spotless the E-handbook! Because we've already used the other two, so that's the only one left.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
I didn't know that you had 3 names. Wait,
How
hold
long
on.
do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
The handbook.
that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Man, the voice actor for Celeste must have been having fun this trial.
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
We do.
That's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
The handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it displays your real name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook, so it has many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it.
Comic book time.
Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Here we go.
The killer is you!
Dang. Something's kind of sad about doing the comic book and like seeing how they died.
To help carry out the murder. And that person was...
Gee, 1 second. That like itch in a very specific blind spot. Ah, the dreaded Gray Man, back at it again.
Was able to execute a number of
They can't keep letting them kill people.
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the
It's a
size
lot of
of
talking
the
for one
hammers
panel.
and attacking people in order as they did.
We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But
There we go.
while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement,
Gray man just
we
chilling with him, huh?
naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared.
Fumi was busy. Holy crap.
But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
I'm so sorry, Sewek. Mwah. Oh, what a nice
Celeste.
picture, though.
Sorry, you lose.
I lost? I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words?
Who knows?
They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
No, their voice change and everything. This is my thing about, like, the English. Like, people can say what they want, they can have their preferences, but when I hear people talk about, like, oh, the English makes my ear bleed, I'm like, but are you listening to these performances?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person once I've
That's
lost,
a whole
I don't
different
like
voice
things
from
to
the
drag
same
on.
person. They've been doing different. I don't know. I just can't be on that train. I can be on the train of preferences, but I can't be on the train of my ears bleed.
Interesting.
Some of them are definitely better than others, but I mean, some of these are good. I don't care. I'll say it. Some of these are good. Ooh, monocoins, 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 monocoins.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end. Isn't it?
We just became a crank. We didn't even get to become a brank.
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
About to find out. Bum-ba-dum. It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who deceived the whole stinking scheme was Celestia Thunberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone was a mistake after all. Ifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Ifumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have been happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her speciality, lying. My speciality? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then,
Then did you use, you know... I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Ifumi to act as my accomplice, I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but it was the one thing Ifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean she's talking about Ultra Ego? What else, Makoto? What? What? What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop as usual. How sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one that stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Ifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, we had our meeting about how it disappeared. I paid Ifumi a little visit. His room has figurines and come on. What are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you, alone. It was about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
What?
are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it.
So
And I have
then-
proof. Would you like to see it? And as it turned out, I'd found use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the pictures as soon as I'd shown it to Ifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You're correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
What?
As for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
He did?
as for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me.
what?
He took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
So then Hifumi was like, "Oh, this guy gotta go down because that's not right. That's a crime, an absolute crime." Yeah. I mean, he'd gone a little crazy, but
Say what?
I'd never imagined he would go that far. He wouldn't, that's the thing, but it was an opportune moment. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I'd never say before in my life. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
Most unfortunate.
Wait, please, if you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands.
Actually,
Taka's planning to use her to escape, and he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean Taka's going to try to kill you. What?
indeed.
And all so he can keep her to himself.
This is unforgivable! Completely unforgivable!
I thought he said Leon forgivable. I'm like, Leon's not around still anymore, right? Like, that's...
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She...
I swear!
I have to save her!
actually,
Then, would you like to join me? It just so happens I came up with a plan. Huh? I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreaded school. Dreadful school. And with that, it was complete. What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Ifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah. It was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But
So why'd you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. That's it? Yeah, that's probably it.
Let's see.
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. God dang. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course. That was all there was to it. As I explained it to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have had an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and then he believed it. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right until the very moment of his death.
so in the end,
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course. There would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder
No,
about that.
he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then what made you take things that far? It was... Was it really just for money? When remember I said hold that thought about the checkmate and I was making a joke? The motive was $10 million. Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life began here, my only thought has been escape. But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch!
Obviously that was a lie. Yep.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here.
You little
I wanted to get
bitch.
out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you want to know why? Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly,
And there was no way I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
as for me,
And it was all for that dream. And what was this dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? Oh. That one looks like Makoto. And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. Oh, cranks. The knights. They all have red eyes. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Are they holding something or are they holding her foot? Oh, probably a toe guy. That's fine. Once I had tamed that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence. Where'd the drill hair go? Is it just like in the back? Alright, this mouse ain't there, but right there. Like down the back of it. Never mind. It doesn't.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. It got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be
unfortunately
done.
my dream has been shattered to the wind, or scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
It sounds so passionate, but were you really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
It's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to be Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
You just get executed again. Celeste smiled then, and when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to try and force it. She claimed she could fool her own emotions, but that statement itself must have been her final lie, and that weak fake smile is what betrayed her. Y'all done? Okay, let's get rolling. The black can disturb the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it
This is-
really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Not unless there's like old. No. The burning of the Versailles witch. Being burned to death? Ooh, that would be such a sucky way to go. A pretty unique way to go, though. Oh, snap. Oh, that's a whole entire fire truck. Oh, that's a whole entire truck. You just ever get a whole entire truck thrown at you? Dang. Dang. Holy heck. Just took Optimus Prime and just ran him on through, huh? It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point I considered her my friend too. And we were a C rank. And for him to just come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world, and so more people had to die. I wouldn't know if I'd call that regrets, Monokuma. I think you're mistaken.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your own lives.
What are you gonna
Jeez,
do?
and here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is, but that reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna keep making us go through with this? What do you want from us? God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key-type object from Celeste?
Hey!
So, what's the deal with that?
What?
What? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh.
Oh man, oh geez, oh man, oh geez. What do you mean, what did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's time I got out of here.
Well,
Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
see ya later.
See ya. Oh boy. Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair. There was one small hope. Hey Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's the key that Celeste gave you? Most likely. It's the key to one of the dressing room lockers. What? Then that means... Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go check.
indeed.
Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
I'm gonna go in alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check with you later.
What?
Why, exactly, are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? She spoke. She glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
You? Please let me go. Standing here arguing is just gonna draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall, okay? So Makoto and Kyoko are gonna go together? Does that mean what I think it means? No.
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are totally pushovers when you show a little backbone. I'm trying to figure what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone.
Shall we go?
Don't think that's what's going down. Well, shall we? Yeah.
So then,
Oh. We need to get into that locker. That was a play for the camera. I'm dumb. Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw the Chaos Emerald. No? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe, thank goodness. I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. I just did what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. Stayed quiet the entire time. Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait a while longer. So now we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but can we take a second since we have this opportunity? I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own here at the school?
you...
Is that what you wanted to come here? Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
However,
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know? That just makes me even more worried.
what?
Worried? Like, what happened during the investigation this time? You disappeared and we didn't see you again, without warning, without explanation. When you do that,
Indeed.
it's only natural to think that I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too? No. I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? So that's why I want you to tell me, and I want you to believe in me too, because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then,
That's fine.
fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see, what I heard from Kyoko then was, well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me in my own two eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when I did, I went into action.
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back. She said it was way in the back of the boys' storage closet, but could Kyoko really be right about this? Yeah. It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be hidden here? She said it was in the way the back of the storage closet. But I mean, seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the storage closet. And suddenly, as if I was being yanked in, it opened, huh? Kashunk. At the same time, as I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. Just always leaping into rooms, and this is why you keep getting into trouble. I'd fallen through the back of the storage closet. Huh? Turned out, the back wall was like a revolving door, and I'd made my way to the other side. Just like Kyoko had said.
Correct.
In the boys' bathroom on the second floor, there's a storage closet. And the way back of that closet, there's a secret room. It's just a secret room. What's in here? It's just a normal desk with normal drawers. There's a bunch of files, and looks like volumes after volumes of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looking at everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Hope Speak Academy Student Registry. It's the only thing here not covered in dust. Has someone been looking at it recently? I slipped the file in my hand, but before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell out of the file and I turned my attention to it. You must not leave. What's this? You must not leave. That's kind of weird. I could understand it if it said, like, I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. The strange sensation. It's like deja vu. The words you must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before, but I can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? Oh, heck. A strange sound rang throughout my head. I felt like it was shaking my brain back and forth. And then, darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I didn't know how long it had been. But the room had been cleared out. Alright. Apparently something hit me and I lost consciousness. That's all I understood. The dull throbbing pain in my head proved that much at least. Everything's gone. Surprise luchador just comes on in, knocks you out, and then that's it, huh? An empty bookshelf. Empty? Gone. It's all gone. The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen out of the floor. It's all gone. What does it mean? My brain refused to do any more work. This insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. For now, let's go back to my room, get some rest. My body was heavy, knees weak, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti, with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back towards my room. Somehow I made it back to the first floor of the school. The further I walked, the more I felt things were getting blurry. I can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that... As if from a vast distance I heard a sound. It was faint but undeniable. That sound, it's coming from the gym? As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? It can't be nothing. Here in the gym? I didn't make a sound as I opened the door to the gym. The sound coming from inside me, while only intensified that much more. Oh, really? Just going at it? Before me, there raged a battle beyond anything humanly possible. No. One side, not human, that's for sure, but... Regardless, I couldn't stop staring. I forgot to move, or even breathe.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
Deal?
I've made a decision. I I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Okay. But you do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage?
Ah, hostage situation, huh? What am I looking at? What am I hearing? A hostage? Then could it be the mastermind spy is Sakura? Chapter 3, The Next Generation Legend, Stand Tall Galactic Hero. The End. 7 left. We started with 15, there's only 7 of us left now. To be continued. I'm going to end the episode there, because I need to rest my throat now, because we've been going and recording for quite some time, and it's also really, really hot. I don't know if that's seeable. Hopefully not. Why is the top part of my screen broken? Oh, that's not good. I need to fix that too. Cool. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification. The actual subscribe button. But I don't know what you're doing next. We just have to wait and see. So until this time, take care and enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching. Oh, see right there? Yeah, like that. Watching.